I'm a person who thinks a lot and sees a lot of things going on, and I've been around before the internet, which means I have a lot of things to say and strong opinions about stuff that'll make people lose their mind, and occasionally I say it on this channel. Now, I've learned something. The general populace can only accept so much of the truth at any given time. That does not mean you spin it or make a lie. That just means if you tell them everything, their brains will melt down and freak out because so many people legitimately have no idea how reality works or the mechanics of it. But I got so focused on making YouTube work that I lost my way. I stopped focusing on the things that I was best at and where I was going. And one day I looked around and realized, what the hell am I doing? What's up, people? I got my New Balances on and a cup of coffee, but today I'm not going to do the super high energy BS kind of ranty stuff. I want to talk seriously about the last 4 years on YouTube, why I've taken a huge step back and what I've learned, and frankly, where I'm going. Concisely to the point, I can tell you that as an individual doing YouTube and focusing on that to huge effect, it has made me both feel and become in some ways lost. And I've thought about it a lot because I felt and saw this coming. However, I believe there is a massive trap to social media for anybody trying to become a content creator, maybe make it big, or the people who have already made it big and are not, in a matter of speaking, a slave to the nature of the way social media and the algorithms work. And the thing about that is, social media can bring tremendous amounts of exposure, which is in fact a power. It's a power to connect with people. And with power, you're able to do something. For many, that's just having the notoriety, connecting with people, maybe a little bit of fame, and even make money. But those things don't make a good person in life specifically. They are just tools to do something. Which begs the question, is YouTube the real world? I'm going to say no, straight up. It's not at all the real world. And that is inherently by the nature of what YouTube is and how it is cultivated. Yes, that relates to the so-called algorithms. I wish we had another word for it, but how YouTube is cultivated, as well any other social media platform. And by nature, social media keeps people on platforms so they can make money from ads and be profitable. Also, your information. They want to know how you work. All social media platforms are effectively data gathering, information, test of humanity type thing. So us being on there is cool for us and all, but they are sapping all of the information of existence out of us, as well as making money directly from us. Now, how do you keep people on any social media platform all the time? One, you keep them addicted. It's the same reason why cigarettes and alcohol and many other things make lots of money, and why really bad drugs are illegal. But social media is without a doubt the most addictive thing of this century, period. And frankly, the most destructive to civilization. Look at the last 3 years. It's as though the afterburner has been lit only to destroy civilization. Because in my entire lifetime, 42 years around the sun, which is a lot shorter than many other people, but longer than a lot of young people on here, life has never been both this horrible and this absolutely perfectly fine, and people don't get it. The separation is everybody thinks it's horrible social media because we're being programmed. But it's actually pretty damn good if you go outside. The sad thing is the young people haven't lived long enough to actually see positive changes throughout culture to know that it's pretty damn good in general. They only see the way the social media is programming. But I want to bring into it this. Obviously, VinWiki was kind of that first big thing I did on social media, although I'd been here before. Now, before I just did what I wanted to and showcased some videos and people saw it, maybe they didn't, it was cool. Things like Batmobiles and racing and vintage cars. And then I did VinWiki. I went on there because I was trying to get exposure for the Genius Garage nonprofit I cared about, because after 6 years of trying very hard, I could get no exposure from the automotive media. And I thought that was bullshit. And frankly, it was. We were doing something really incredible and big, but it didn't work. And for another video, I'll talk about the nature of traditional media and how it's broken and stupid. But I figured it out, and sadly, it can be manipulated by those who figure it out. So anyway, I went out to get exposure for Genius Garage. Now, when I first went on VinWiki, I'm gonna tell you straight up my thought, and I know there's gonna be like 15 fanboys that lose their mind for me saying this, but guys, grow up, this is reality. When I was watching VinWiki before I went on it, and the storytellers there before me, because I think it was about 400,000 subscribers when I first went on, I thought, wow, I'm gonna have to think long and hard of how to be entertaining and tell a story and still have a career after being associated with this platform or this channel. That's not a dig. That's simply saying most of the things on VinWiki are ridiculous, extravagant stories with cars, doing illegal things, or just selfish, self-aggrandizing, ridiculous things. And it's gonna be difficult to be associated with that and separate myself enough that I can still be an upstanding member of the community, which is true. Okay, I understand there's fanboys that have been programmed by everything in the internet for a long time that'll lose their minds if anybody ever critiques another influencer, but it's reality. So if people want to live a certain kind of life, good, great for them. Doesn't work for me. The reason being is I care about the real world. I was a real car builder long before I ever did YouTube. All of the things I built, all the successes I have, building, restoring race cars, Batmobiles, customs, vintage cars, flipping, all those adventures that I had that I got to tell on VinWiki to become bigger was because I was out in the real world doing it. But many of the so-called content creators or influencers or whatever you want to say in the automotive world, they were nobodies before YouTube. That's not a dig, that's honesty. And the trap and the danger for those people is when they get big and they weren't anybody, they weren't really a thing, they weren't really automotive, they were nothing before YouTube. All they know is YouTube. So that becomes their reality and that becomes their trophy. And that becomes what they believe in as everything. But it's not. It's not at all. It doesn't even reflect what works in the normal world of society or for young people. That's why when I started my channel, the Casey Putsch or Casey the Car Guy channel here. I'm thinking about changing the name again. The one thing I said is I can be honest. Now I've learned something. The general populace can only accept so much of the truth at any given time. That does not mean you spin it or make a lie. That just means if you tell them everything, their brains will melt down and freak out because so many people legitimately have no idea how reality works or the mechanics of it for many philosophical, cultural, social, and hypothetical reasons. That's neither here nor there. And recently, there was a big automotive content creator that I know, but I don't know, you know what I mean? That posted something, they're really excited about hitting a big milestone, and that's great. And I wrote something, I just simply said, was it worth it? And he kind of got thrown for a loop and was digging, and it seemed like he wanted to be defensive or fight because he's really proud of it. But I can tell you, based upon that person's life, I don't think it's worth it. I think they're totally lost. And I think all of the real car builders in the world, and I can give you examples, but I'm not going to because I don't want to make the video about that guy or start a row. The people in the real world who are real car builders think he's an idiot, even though he's huge and admired by thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of people. The guy didn't know dick about building cars. He's gotten a lot better, but this is not a career car guy doing high-end stuff. He's doing high-end stuff now, but that's it. And I just simply said, was it worth it? Because looking at it as an adult who's been around the sun a few times, I'm like, I wouldn't want to be him and have his life. So I wonder if that person will ever ask the question and go, wait a minute, I didn't actually have my own life. I was a slave to YouTube and the algorithm. Dancing in a fishbowl, like a street performer on the dock of Key West, waiting for everybody from the cruise ships to come in and watch them perform and make money. And frankly, that's the way I've felt oftentimes on here. I have felt like a street performer outside of a cruise ship for tourists. Because you sing and dance, and you do all these things, you try to do builds and crazy things to get views, and at the end of the day, what do you have? Not a whole lot. You have a lot of power, people are watching, but what are you doing with that in the real world? You may have some money, you may have cool cars and tools, but what are you doing with them? Can you make any money? And that's a trap for builders. If you're on YouTube just to destroy cars or build ridiculous garbage cars that you're gonna lose money on or no one would buy or you can't go race, those vehicles only have their value in YouTube and social media. Being a hero for building stuff that is kind of useless in the real world or doesn't make money. So One, you got nothing going on in the real world except the crummy cars you build. There has to be an end game or a direction, because YouTube and people is supposed to be reality. YouTube I like is because it's long format. I think a huge mistake of YouTube are the shorts, because shorts destroy the greater value of what YouTube is, the longer format, where you can actually get information and think and feel. Shorts destroy that. TikTok destroyed that. TikTok is all an information gathering thing and a propaganda machine from China. It is, period. I know you don't think that's true, but it's literally something to take information people and program them. It's not hyperbole. It's easy to do. Twitter is where the battleground is. Twitter is a horrific place to be right now, but it's something that had to happen. It'll be interesting to see the evolution of that, but it is a battleground right now. And many could say that Elon Musk ruined it, but for the sake of the future and all of people and the individual liberty of individuals to actually be able to have discussions about important topics related to civilization, it was already destroyed by censorship and propaganda and pushing and posturing from governments influencing behind the scenes. So it's a battleground right now, and that sucks, but it'll get better. You know, Instagram's kind of nice, but it's brain fodder. It's kind of useless. I only like it for communicating with people here and there. So where am I going with all this? This has to work for me in the real world, or I'm not going to do it. Now, you guys remember I said that I did this because I was trying to get exposure for Genius Garage. Well, I got it. I've learned a lot about nonprofits. One, you need to know, I do not get paid from the Genius Garage nonprofits. Two, I don't own those cars that are part of Genius Garage. The yellow Corvette, the Lotus Exosphere, the Daytona prototype, the sprint car, 3 go-karts. What else does Genius Garage own? That prototype car, a couple other things. They're not mine. That's why I don't go play with them. I only work on these things with students or for betterment of students and teaching. That's why I have other cars that are my own. For instance, everything in this garage. My King Zero build, my 2 Dodge Vipers, the black Lamborghini, the Mondial, this Buick. Stuff like that, those are mine. The Porsche race car, that's mine. My Formula B, that's mine. It has nothing to do with Genius Garage. Why are the cars in the same building, separated but the same building? Because there's only one of me. I have never met anybody on planet Earth who, and I'm just gonna say it straight up, that one, has the talent to maintain, build, and engineer and understand all of those kinds of vehicles. Also possessing the ability to teach and mentor young people, because the people who do typically know how to do that don't really give a crap about anybody else and want to microfocus, and they don't have the communication skills. Also, and this is pretty important, will work for free. There isn't any. Now, I don't want to go on a long discussion about the economics and the positioning of 501c3s and nonprofits in the world, but suffice it to say, I don't come from a giant, well-connected, C-suite level, aristocratic, wealthy, well-heeled background. Those are the things you need if you want a nonprofit to succeed indefinitely. And no, I am not going to destroy Genius Garage by getting into bed with some disastrous university, because one, Genius Garage wouldn't have to exist if universities had any ability to do what we do. So that alone makes it useless to connect with the university and would just drag the nonprofit down. And two, no, I'm not going to basically sell out to some damn corporation where they're going to make it into something of their own just for marketing so they can pat themselves on the back and get, talent. That's not going to work unless things are done a certain way. So I'm going to keep it true and I'm going to keep it pure. So we need to move on past Genius Garage. I'm doing a good job. No one else is doing it. If you want to help, come help. And yes, it takes money to do this. And otherwise, let's leave it be. So Casey Putsch, I'm a person, I want to go somewhere in life. I've got things to do and I'm chomping at the bit. Now, I'm a person who thinks a lot and sees a lot of things going on, and I've been around before the internet, which means I have a lot of things to say and strong opinions about stuff that'll make people lose their mind, and occasionally I say it on this channel. Yes, I have The Golden Shovel with Casey Putsch. So I'll put a link down below, but subscribe to that, because when I come out swinging, hold on to your ass. But I haven't decided to do it yet, for a number of reasons. One, I am still working on a few things that relate to big entities in Genius Garage. And the time we live in right now is one that individuals don't get to say their opinion about anything. You have to be a censored sheep If you want to do anything in the realm of having sponsorships or corporate connections or nonprofits or teaching. It's terrible, but it's true. It's true. So I'm trying to play a little nice for a while to see if I can make some big things happen that will be overall best for me, Genius Garage, and society at large. If I'm unable to do that, oh yes, the best way that I can affect society at large, Genius Garage, and everything for the better is opening my mouth. And I'm going to do that. But it has to be done in a certain order because I'm actually not dumb. But I'm frustrated because I've been working for free for a freaking decade for students who oftentimes will never actually even say thank you. And you don't do it for a thank you, you do it to make things better, but I'm gonna be honest. After many thousands of hours given away and heartaches and putting your life on hold for a decade, which is a large portion of your existence, period, one starts to rethink, why do I want to help a bunch of people that seem to be grateful or going nowhere? Now, let's talk about that hypothetically, because this is fun. I personally will consider Genius Garage a failure if I'm unable to get it to a point where it can exist and grow if I'm not around. That's where it needs to get to. Yes, we've helped a lot of students in the past, but I'm going to ask that question, does that matter? So let's look at it. If making the program successful is getting it to a point where it can grow and prosper and make the difference that I created, even without me, that's the bar that's set. Let's say hypothetically that won't work. Because let's be honest, visionaries have a problem trying to make new things happen because the world works a certain way, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. So changing that is difficult. Now, let's say I'm not able to do that. Let's look back at the sacrifice I made, the decade of loss of being able to work and pursue my own goals, creations, or career for the sake of students. If one of the many students that we have helped and mentored doesn't do more in life than I could have done, then it's a failure. If all those students, how it changed their life, better, worse, whatever, doesn't rise the bar of humanity or the nation of the United States greater than I could have done on my own in a decade, then it's a failure, philosophically speaking. That kind of scares me. It scares me on a personal level because I just put 10 years into these students. Now, I figure I can muster a little harder and just will myself to have a longer lifespan. But I put 10 years into them in this nonprofit. And I put the last 4 years into YouTube. I'm not interested at being a dancing court jester on the dock for cruise ship people, metaphorically speaking. And I'm not going to sacrifice my entire life and existence just to help out a bunch of kids who don't say thank you and may or may not go that much further anyway. They don't come back to help. And they have to get to a point in life where maybe they do. But I tell you something else that scared the hell out of me. One of my students who was with the program for 3 years, brilliant young man, I actually spent my own personal money to buy this kid a watch with an engraving that said, what did I say, never stop growing? Well, he stopped growing. And he got triggered because I made a video dogging on Andrew Tate, and he saw me saying something about Andrew Tate and just assumed that I liked Andrew Tate. Now, that has nothing to do with anything. I don't. I think he's a jackass. I think a lot of people are idiots out there. But just because of that, he didn't want to talk to me anymore and was dodging me. And I was calling him because someone had donated some beautiful Snap-on high-end screwdrivers, and I wanted to give the screwdrivers to him and the other past students that were at a place working on and building cars that somebody is helping them do this. And then I had a conversation with him, an honest one, about that, and thinking and hypothetically, and I said, you know, I helped you for 3 years. 3 years of my life to help you and others' careers. You know that. I should hope you would, even if you saw something little, that you should be smart enough to give me the benefit of the doubt of being a good person. And at the very least, do me the honor of speaking to me before you get triggered and make an assumption over one tiny thing. But he didn't. And I bring that back to YouTube, social media, and the algorithm. It's not real life. And it's programming and destroying people. It's destroying civilization. So when I said it to that big automotive YouTuber, was it worth it? I already know the answer for him. The answer is no. Because everybody in the real world thinks he's a fool, a bad car builder. And one day it's all going to be over. And we're all looking at his life going, this is in shambles. So maybe he's famous, maybe he has a little bit of money. Maybe he did more than he'd ever be able to do otherwise. But he's shackled to a non-reality. And that non-reality is the same one that's screwing up the world, nations, and people. And some of my past students who no longer have the ability to think for themselves in the real life based upon their experiences of many years. They can be programmed and influenced at any given moment. So why I'm not doing many videos right now is, I don't know what to say. I know exactly how I feel. I know exactly where I think. I know exactly what I stand. And damn it, I want to fight. Metaphorically speaking. But well, no, it's not. A fight is a fight. Don't worry. I'm not going to just start doing horrible acts of things that I can't even talk about online because we're being censorship. Fight for good. Fight for what's right. Fight for people. Fight for our country. Fight for our nation. Fight for my family. Just fight to have a better future. Fight to create. The thing that made me the most annoying to all my teachers when I was a kid growing up was, and I think this came from growing up in a family business with thousands of people coming by and trying to fleece a kid, is I smell bullshit pretty fast. And I don't take it. I grew up before the internet was here to program young people. And yes, I said that exactly how it is. Young people are being programmed. I wasn't programmed. So YouTube, I'm making less videos. And yeah, the algorithm puts my stuff farther down at the bottom of the pile, and it's going to get less views, except for you smart people who have clicked the bell and everything, and the few people out there. But I'm going to tell you this, if 10 high functioning people listen to this, and we get together and one of them and I do something big, that's a hell of a lot better and more powerful than a million people watching it and just arguing and doing nothing. And that's what happens behind the scenes that you guys don't see. We got our core group of people here on this community. Thank you for watching. I see you guys. I've seen you over the years. It means a lot. I enjoy hearing from you in the comments. You get the fanboys that are all pissed off because I'm talking about their demigod on YouTube or whatever. And you get the fools and you get the trolls. By the way, to some of you trolls or people that are kind of stalkers or being malicious, I have the ability to know who you are and where you live when you comment if I want to. So, this channel, my other channel, it has to exist in the real world. And I'm going to be honest, the last year or two from YouTube, I got lost. I got lost as a person. See, I still knew exactly who I am. I knew what I like and I know what I want to do and where to go. But I got so focused on making YouTube work that I lost my way. I stopped focusing on the things that I was best at and where I was going. And one day I looked around and realized, what the hell am I doing? I'll give you an example. Porsche 944s, I love them. They're a great car. I think I've had like 6 of them, maybe 7. And I'll probably get another one. And those do great on my channel. And there's a great group on Facebook I created, the No Snob 944 Squad. But I don't have one right now because I'm enjoying other cars that are rarer, more difficult to work on, faster, whatever. And you know what? A lot of them don't do good on my channel. The Buick and the Lamborghini don't do very well on my channel. 944 do a lot better. But I like these. And I'm continuing my journey. And I got some big stuff I'm doing right now, and I'm going to piss some people off and do some things that are really interesting. So I don't know where this is going to go, guys, but I ain't done yet. And I doubt anybody watched long enough that this matters for you to hear this, but if you notice I'm not having the views now I did in the past, it's because I'm not doing as many videos. I can literally just turn the wick up at any given time. But unless there's a good reason in the real world to turn the wick up, I'm not going to put the time in and waste it. And on that note, I got to say this, and I wish more people got to hear this as well. The King Zero build. I love the car, I love the build, I love the concept, I love doing the art. I think Avalon King is a good product and a cool company, and the guys who run it are awesome for doing that. But the reason that car is not being worked on is simple. The economics and logistics of that car, when put out and weighed and measured, is a loser. My life will go backwards as I work on that car. The only way I'm going to work on that car again is, one, it becomes economically intelligent for me to work on it again, i.e. there's got to be a monetary incentive, because right now there's not. It doesn't remotely get enough views to warrant the time to put in it, which is hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours. Let me give you a hypothetical. The amount of time it would take for me to finish the King Zero to make very little to no money, many people can become a billionaire. Or just move your ball along further. I've got a small child I'd like to spend time with. I've got other things I'd like to do. In full transparency, Avalon King's not going to sponsor my channel unless I start working on that again. But it's still not worth it, and I can't do that. And to be honest, I would go completely insane working on that car, because I know my life would be going backwards while working on a car. So I can't do it right now, guys. It will come back, but it has to come back at a time where it's not dragging everything down. You can throw a boat anchor out in a boat and it's not going to hurt anything if you're not going anywhere. If you put the sails down and everybody's out swimming, well, you might need a boat anchor. But if you got all the sails up and the spinnakers and you're ripping through some water and everything like that, you're not going to drop anchor. I know that's kind of a negative sounding analogy, but it's the same effect. And I really want people to be able to understand that, and young people, because school sucks in the United States. They teach nothing of strategy and money to people and their time, and time is being money. And you got a lot of angry people that think they need to get a job to become rich, or I can't have that car unless I have a job, or you must be, no. Get a toolbox, work for yourself, understand the value of time and money, and strategize on how to make that. But no school teaches any of that. I'm not dumb, guys. And I'm here for you. But I'm going to be here for you by telling the truth. You know, you can tell when somebody cares about somebody else because they'll tell them the truth. You can tell that somebody only cares about themselves when they tell other people what they want to hear. How many YouTubers are only telling the public what they want to hear? What does that tell you about them? You can think anything you like about me. You may have better insight to me and my character than I do. Or I may have made a failure to communicate to individuals or as a whole as to what I'm thinking and doing, by any means. I'll own that. But guys, I'm just trying to make things better. Information for you. Tell the truth. I'd like to see your lives get better. I'd like to see my life get better. I'd like to see my family's life get better. I would like to see the United States be better. I would like to see there be less turmoil out there. And I really would like it if social media platforms weren't destroying everybody's life and civilization to make money and take power from people. That's all it's doing. So I admit, yeah, I've been lost. But only in the sense that I haven't been able to put the pieces together yet. I know exactly what to do, and I'm working on it. As one example, I'm talking to a very high-level famous person that relates to business in the automotive world internationally. Among others, actually. There's a few. But crap takes time. It's been the better part of a year that I've been working with different people and marketing people at companies. And I just wrote the guy back today and go, this is ridiculous. I would tell you to cut these people loose and bring me on board, but there's bigger things we can do. If you have visions or you're a visionary, expect it to be difficult, even if you're right. All right, that's it. Thanks for watching, guys. I still got stuff coming up. I'm working on the Lotus Exosphere with Genius Garage, getting that ready for something crazy that I think will make a lot of people smile and even make the people that hate me and Genius Garage and the whole world want to watch too. Because they're going to hope we fail while everybody else hopes we succeed. So I think you may enjoy that. And in the meantime, yeah, I'm working on things. And that even includes the possibility of politics. Although we'll see on that one because I'm not interested in walking out in front of a machine gun nest. I don't mind walking out of the trenches, but we better have the right strategy and people. I'm not just gonna go walk in front of like I said, a machine gun nest by myself. I'm not interested in being a martyr. Nobody wins that way. Okay, I hope I made a good video for you guys. I really appreciate you watching. I really appreciate doing this, and I'm gonna keep being honest with you. And for all the angry trolls who didn't see this, I'm sorry. Your life is the way it is. And I hope your day gets better. See you guys next time.